Hello, I'm glad you're with us. Before we begin, please like and subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date on everything. And now, come with me. Ahead, there's something worthwhile. The curse of the shack that took my mother. I remember that day. It was gray, like ash. I was 10 years old. I stood there crying, pointing at the old shed. My mother was there. I knew it. I felt it deep in my soul. My Uncle Roman stood beside me. He was tall, with a stern face. He opened the shed door. Emptiness, only dust and cobwebs. He told me my mother wasn't there. He said she had simply left, but I didn't believe him. I never believed him. My life in Foxbrook was quiet but difficult. We lived in a small house on the edge of the village. The village was surrounded by a dense forest, and the Air River flowed nearby. The air always smelled of damp earth and pine needles. In Foxbrook, everyone knew each other. Everyone knew about our hardships too. My parents were simple people. My father worked on a farm, and my mother took care of the house. She was my everything. Her smile was the brightest sun in my life. She sang lullabies to me every night. Her voice was as soft as silk. She told me stories about faraway lands. She taught me to read. She taught me to dream. I remember her hands. They were warm and soft. She always stroked my head. Our house was old but cozy. There was a creaky sofa in the living room. The kitchen always smelled of freshly baked bread. My room was small, but I loved it. My drawings hung on the walls, and my toys lay on the floor. I had a wooden train. I played with it for hours. I imagined it traveling to magical lands. My mother always smiled when I played. She said I would be a great traveler. My father was a strong and silent man. He taught me to work. He taught me to respect the land. He taught me to be honest. He took me fishing with him. We sat on the riverbank in silence, only the splashing of water. He taught me to fish. He taught me patience. He said that life is a river. It flows, it changes. We must be prepared for anything. Our neighbors were kind. They always helped each other. Mrs. Dolores lived nearby. She was an elderly woman with a wrinkled face. Her hair was gray. She always brought us pies. She told me stories about Foxbrook. She remembered the times when the village was prosperous. She said that a lot had changed, but the people remained the same. My family was my fortress. We were poor but happy. We appreciated simple things. We appreciated each other. I loved sitting with my mother in the garden. We planted flowers. She told me about each flower, about its history, about its meaning. She said that every flower has its soul. I believed her. I believed everything my mother said. I remember how we picked berries in the forest. My mother taught me to distinguish edible berries from poisonous ones. She said that nature is full of wonders. She said that we should be grateful for everything it gives us. I felt like I was part of this world, part of this nature, part of my family. I thought it would always be like this. I thought that our life would continue forever. My most precious treasure is the memory of my mother. Her laughter, her hugs, her stories. I kept them deep in my heart. They were my refuge, my comfort, my hope. I didn't know that soon I would have to face a world where these memories would be the only things I had left. I didn't know that my world would change forever. I didn't know that my life would turn into a search for the truth. A search that would lead me to Foxbrook's darkest secret. When I was 10 years old, the world turned upside down. My father died in an accident. He worked in a quarry outside of town. Collapse. He didn't survive. I remember the day the news came. My mother cried. She cried for a long time. I hugged her. I didn't know what to do. I felt helpless. My Uncle Roman came to us. He was my father's brother. He lived in another town. He came to help. He said he would take care of us. After my father's funeral, Uncle Roman stayed with us. He said we couldn't live alone. He said he needed to help us. My mother was devastated. She barely ate. She barely slept. She sat by the window and stared into nowhere. I saw her pain. I wanted to help her, but I was just a child. I didn't know how. Uncle Roman began to interfere more and more in our lives. He began to manage our finances. He said that my mother was too weak to handle all this. He said that he had to protect us. He started making all the decisions. I remember him telling my mother that she needed to sell some land to cover my father's debts. My mother didn't want to. She said that this land was ours. She said that it belonged to our family. But Uncle Roman insisted. He said it was necessary. He said it was the only way out. I began to notice strange things. Uncle Roman became very withdrawn. He often talked on the phone in a whisper. He locked his room. He didn't let my mother in there. I heard them arguing. They argued about money. They argued about land. My mother looked more and more unhappy. Her eyes were full of tears. She often looked at the old shed in the yard. At first, I didn't understand why. One night, I woke up from a noise. I heard voices. They were loud. I looked out of my room. Uncle Roman and my mother were arguing. I couldn't make out the words. Their voices were muffled, but I heard the anger in their tones. Then I heard a scream, one loud, piercing scream. Then silence, absolute silence. My heart froze. I was afraid, very afraid. I waited a few minutes. Then I cautiously left my room. The house was dark. I went downstairs. The living room was empty, the kitchen too. I checked my mother's room. She wasn't there. I felt a chill down my spine. I ran to Uncle Roman's room. The door was closed. I knocked. No one answered. I knocked again. Uncle Roman opened the door. His eyes were red. His hair was disheveled. He looked tired, he looked angry. I asked him where my mother was. He said she had left. He said she was tired of all this. He said she had simply left. I didn't believe him. I asked him why she left at night. He said that was her business. He said I didn't need to ask questions. He said I needed to go to sleep. I went back to my room. Couldn't sleep. I lay in bed. I thought about my mother, I thought about the scream, I thought about Uncle Roman. The next morning, I asked him about my mother again. He repeated that she had left. He said she had left a note. He handed me a folded piece of paper. The note was written in unfamiliar handwriting. It said that my mother was leaving. It said she needed time. It said she would return when she was ready. It wasn't my mother's handwriting. I knew it. I knew her handwriting by heart. Uncle Roman said that he was now my guardian. He said that he would take care of me. He said that he would be my father, but he wasn't my father. He wasn't my mother. He was a stranger. He was scary. I started having dreams, strange dreams. I saw my mother. She was in the shed. She was crying. She was calling me. I woke up in a cold sweat. I knew these weren't just dreams. I often sat by the window and looked at the shed. It was old, with a leaning roof. Its walls were covered in moss. It seemed ominous. I felt that something was wrong there. I felt that a secret was being kept there. Uncle Roman always told me to stay away from the shed. He said it was old and dangerous. He said it could collapse, but I felt that he was hiding something. Weeks passed, my mother didn't return. Uncle Roman became even more stern. He didn't allow me to leave the house alone. He controlled my every step. He didn't answer my questions about my mother. He just brushed them off. He said I should forget her. He said she had abandoned us. I never believed him. My dreams became clearer and clearer. I saw my mother in the shed. I saw her face. It was sad, it was scared. I heard her voice, called me by name. I woke up with a feeling of despair. I knew that these dreams were not just dreams. They were a message, they were the truth. One day, when Uncle Roman went to town, I decided to go into the shed. My heart was pounding. I felt fear, but I also felt determination. I carefully opened the door. It was dark inside. The air was musty. I turned on a flashlight. I looked around. Nothing unusual. Old tools, pieces of wood, dust. But I didn't give up. I started examining the floor. It was earthen. In one corner, I noticed that the earth looked different. It was looser, it was darker. My heart pounded even harder. I started digging, first with my hands. Then I found an old shovel. I dug until my arms ached. I dug until I felt something hard. It was a piece of fabric. I kept digging. I found more and more. I realized it was clothing. I realized it was my mother's clothing. My eyes filled with tears. My body trembled. I knew that my dreams were true. I knew that Uncle Roman was lying. I knew that my mother was here, underground, in the shed. I quickly buried everything back. I didn't want Uncle Roman to find out that I had found something. I was scared, but I was also full of anger. My mother was here, and Uncle Roman was involved. I knew I needed to find evidence. I knew I needed to uncover the truth. I knew I needed to take revenge. Emotional aftermath. I returned to the house. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating like crazy. I felt an icy chill inside. I was in shock. I couldn't believe what I had discovered. My mother buried in our own shed. It was unthinkable, it was monstrous. My uncle, my guardian, my supposed protector, he was a murderer. I locked myself in my room. I cried. I cried until the tears ran out. Anger began to rise within me. It was like fire. It burned me from the inside. I felt cheated. I felt betrayed. My childhood was destroyed. My family was destroyed. Everything I believed in turned out to be a lie. I tried to act normal when Uncle Roman came home. I ate dinner with him. I pretended everything was okay. But inside me, a hurricane was raging. I looked at him, at his face, at his eyes. He looked so ordinary, so calm. How could he do this? How could he pretend? My dreams became even more vivid. I saw my mother. She was pale. Her eyes were empty. She pointed at Uncle Roman. She whispered his name. I woke up screaming. My voice was hoarse. My throat hurt. Uncle Roman came to my room. He asked what had happened. I told him I had a bad dream. He stroked my head. His touch was disgusting. I began searching for information. I started reading old newspapers. I looked for articles about missing persons. I looked for articles about our area, but there was nothing. Nothing about my mother. Nothing about her disappearance. Uncle Roman must have hidden everything carefully. I tried to talk to Mrs. Dolores. She was my neighbor. She was kind to me. I asked her about my mother. I asked her if she remembered anything strange. She said she remembered when my mother disappeared. She said everyone was surprised. She said that Uncle Roman told everyone that my mother had left for a better life. Mrs. Dolores looked sad. She said she was always sorry that my mother left without saying goodbye. She said it wasn't like my mother. I couldn't tell her the truth. I couldn't tell her what I had found in the shed. I was afraid. I didn't know who I could trust. I felt completely alone. I tried to come up with a plan. I needed to do something. I couldn't just sit and wait. I couldn't let Uncle Roman get away with it. I wanted him to pay. I wanted him to feel my pain. I wanted him to understand what he had done. My thoughts were confused. I was angry. I was upset. I was scared. I didn't know where to start. I was just a boy. I had no money, no power. I had no one who could help me. One day, when I was at the library, I accidentally overheard a conversation. Two women were talking about an old lawyer. His name was Julian. They said he was very smart. They said he was very honest. They said he always helped those in trouble. My heart leaped. Maybe he could help me. I decided to find Julian. It was my only chance. I knew it would be dangerous. I knew that Uncle Roman might find out, but I was ready to risk it. I was ready for anything to uncover the truth. I was ready for anything to avenge my mother. Night after night, I lay in bed. I imagined Uncle Roman suffering. I imagined him getting what he deserved. These thoughts gave me strength. They gave me a purpose. My revenge had to be perfect. It had to be complete. It had to be just. I understood that it would take time, it would take patience, it would take cunning. I had to become stronger. I had to become smarter. I had to become invisible. I had to become a shadow. I had to become justice. I began to plan. My plan was simple, but it was effective. I had to gather evidence. I had to find witnesses. I had to present everything in such a way that no one could deny the truth. I had to expose Uncle Roman before all of Foxbrook. I had to show them who he really was. I knew it would be a long journey. I knew it would be difficult, but I was ready. I was ready for the battle. I was ready for the war. I was ready for revenge. My mother deserved it. She deserved justice. She deserved peace, and I was the one who would give it to her. My path to revenge began with silent preparation. I began to watch Uncle Roman, his every move, every word. I memorized his routine. I learned his habits. He worked at an old sawmill on the outskirts of Foxbrook. He left early in the morning and returned late in the evening. This gave me time for my searches. First, I decided to return to the shed. I waited for Uncle Roman to leave. My heart was pounding when I opened the door again. I took a small shovel with me. I started digging in the same place. This time, I dug carefully. I wanted to find something more substantial. I found a piece of an old dress. It was dark with a floral pattern. I remembered this dress. My mother wore it on holidays. Tears welled up in my eyes. I wrapped the dress in a rag and hid it under the floor in my room. This was my first piece of evidence. This was tangible proof. I knew it wasn't enough. I needed more. I needed something that would link Uncle Roman directly to the crime. My next target was Uncle Roman's house. He lived in a big house in the center of the village. He was very careful. He always locked the doors, but I noticed that he sometimes left the kitchen window open. I waited for the right moment. One night, when everyone was asleep, I quietly slipped out of the house. I crept to Uncle Roman's house. I carefully approached the window. It was ajar. I climbed inside. The house was dark. I turned on a flashlight. I moved silently. I was looking for anything that could be connected to my mother. I searched every room. I opened drawers. I checked closets. I was looking for notes. I was looking for letters. I was looking for anything that could shed light on her disappearance. I found an old diary. It lay under Uncle Roman's bed. I opened it. It was my uncle's diary. He wrote about his affairs, about his debts, about his greed. And suddenly I came across an entry. It was written several years ago, shortly before my mother's disappearance. It talked about a large debt and how he had to get money to pay it off. Then I saw another entry. It said that he had to get rid of a problem and that he had to do it quietly. My heart pounded. This was it. Evidence. I tore these pages out of the diary. I hid them under my shirt. I quietly got out of the house. I returned to my room. I hid the pages next to the dress. I felt like a winner. I felt like I was getting closer to the truth. I began searching for the lawyer Julian. I heard that he lived on the outskirts of the village in an old, abandoned house. I went there. The door was old, with peeling paint. I knocked. No one answered. I knocked again. Then I heard footsteps. The door opened. An elderly man stood on the threshold. His hair was gray and disheveled. His eyes were tired. He looked exhausted. I introduced myself. I told him that I needed his help. He looked at me with distrust. He said that he was no longer taking cases. He said that he had retired. I told him about my mother. I told him about the shed. I told him about Uncle Roman. I showed him the dress. I showed him the pages from the diary. His eyes widened. He took the pages. He read them carefully. He read them again and again. When he finished, he looked up at me. His eyes were full of sadness. He said it was serious. He said it was very serious. He asked me what I wanted. I told him that I wanted the truth. I told him that I wanted justice. I told him that I wanted Uncle Roman to pay for what he had done. Julian agreed to help me. He said that it would be difficult. He said that it would be dangerous, but he said that he couldn't refuse a child who was searching for the truth. He said that he believed me. He said that he believed in justice. We began to work together. Julian taught me. He taught me how to gather evidence. He taught me how to analyze information. He taught me how to be careful. He said that Uncle Roman was a dangerous man. He said that he would stop at nothing to hide the truth. We decided to turn to Mrs. Dolores. Julian said that she could be a valuable witness. She was an old friend of my mother's. She lived nearby. She might know something. We went to her. Julian explained the situation to her. He showed her the evidence. He showed her the dress. He showed her the pages from the diary. Mrs. Dolores cried. She said that she had always felt that something was wrong. She said that she had never believed that my mother had simply left. She told us that she had heard screams that night. She told us that she had seen Uncle Roman carrying something big to the shed. She told us that she had seen him when he was burying something. She said that she was too scared to say anything. She said that Uncle Roman had threatened her. He had threatened her family. Mrs. Dolores agreed to testify. She said that she would no longer be silent. She said that she was ready to tell the truth. My heart filled with hope. We had evidence, we had a witness, we had a lawyer. We were ready. We decided to gather all the residents of Foxbrook. We decided to hold a meeting. We decided to reveal the truth before everyone. It was risky, but it was the only way. We wanted everyone to know. We wanted everyone to understand. I felt that revenge was near. I felt that justice was on its way. I felt that my mother would rest in peace. I was ready. I was ready for this moment, the moment when Uncle Roman would pay for his crimes. The appointed day came. It was a Tuesday morning, June 15th, 2026. We gathered in the main square of Foxbrook. The square was filled with people. All the residents of the village were there. They looked curious, they looked puzzled. No one knew what was about to happen. Julian stood on the steps of the old town hall. He was dressed in a suit. His voice was loud and clear. He began to speak about justice. He began to speak about truth. He began to speak about how silence can be as harmful as lies. Then he introduced me. My heart was pounding. I felt fear, but I also felt determination. I stood next to Julian. I began to speak. My voice trembled at first, but then it became stronger. I told them everything. I told them about my mother. I told them about her disappearance. I told them about Uncle Roman. I told them about my dreams. I told them about the shed. I took out the dress. I showed it to the people. I told them that it was my mother's dress. I told them that I found it in the shed. The people's faces changed. They looked shocked, they looked horrified. Then Julian took out the pages from Uncle Roman's diary. He began to read them aloud. He read about the debts. He read about Uncle Roman's plans. He read about how he had to get rid of the problem. People began to whisper. Their eyes were full of anger. They looked at Uncle Roman. Uncle Roman stood in the crowd. He was pale, his face was distorted. He looked frightened, he looked trapped. Then Julian called Mrs. Dolores. She came forward. Her hands were shaking, her voice was quiet, but then it became stronger. She told them everything. She told them about the screams she heard that night. She told them about Uncle Roman carrying something big to the shed. She told them about him burying something. She told them about his threats. Silence, then anger that grew in the crowd. People began to shout. They began to demand justice. They began to demand that Uncle Roman be punished. The police officers who were present at the meeting approached Uncle Roman. They arrested him. He resisted, he shouted. He swore that he was innocent, but no one believed him. People shouted at him as he was taken away. They called him a murderer. Uncle Roman was taken away. The crowd dispersed slowly. People looked at me with sympathy. They came up to me, they hugged me. They said that they were sorry. They said that they should have acted sooner. The next morning, the news about Uncle Roman spread throughout Foxbrook. The newspapers wrote about the crime, about his terrible secret. People discussed it on the streets, in the shops, in the tavern. Everyone was shocked. Everyone was angry. The trial began. Julian was my lawyer. He presented all the evidence. He presented witnesses. He showed how Uncle Roman had planned the murder, how he craved money, how he had tried to hide the truth. Uncle Roman tried to defend himself. He lied. He denied everything. He said that I had made it all up. He said that I was a sick child, but no one believed him. The evidence was too strong, the testimonies were too convincing. In the end, Uncle Roman was found guilty of murdering my mother. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. I felt relief. I felt that justice had been served. I felt that my mother would finally be at peace. After the sentencing, the residents of Foxbrook decided to do something. They decided to correct their mistakes. They decided to honor my mother's memory. They decided to create a garden in her honor. We gathered near the shed. The shed was demolished. In its place, we planted flowers, beautiful, bright flowers, the kind that my mother loved. I helped plant them. I felt that my mother was near. I felt that she was smiling. The residents of Foxbrook also helped me restore my rightful name, my family name, my history. I was no longer just Mateo. I was Mateo de la Rosa, son of Isabel de la Rosa. I felt whole. I felt free. My revenge was not only about punishment, it was about truth. It was about justice. It was about restoration. It was about Foxbrook learning that silence also hurts. Silence can be deadly. Years passed, Foxbrook changed. It became different. People became more open. They became more attentive to each other. They understood that silence could indeed be destructive. They learned to speak, they learned to listen. The Isabel Garden became the heart of Foxbrook. It was a place of peace, a place of reflection, a place of memory. People came there to remember, to pray, to think about their own mistakes. The flowers bloomed year-round. Their fragrance filled the air. It reminded everyone of the beauty of life and the importance of truth. I grew up, I became a young man. I continued to live in Foxbrook. I became a teacher. I taught children. I taught them about justice. I taught them about truth. I taught them about how important it is not to be silent. I told them the story of my mother. I told them the story of Foxbrook. I wanted them to know. I wanted them to remember. Julian became my mentor. He was like a father to me. He taught me not only the law, he taught me wisdom. He taught me about life. He died in old age. He was buried next to the Isabel Garden. He was a hero. He was a man who helped me find the truth. Mrs. Delors continued to live nearby. She became my grandmother. We often sat in the garden, we remembered my mother, we talked about life, we talked about the future. She was a strong woman. She was a woman who finally found her voice. My life after revenge was peaceful, but it was never easy. The memories of my mother were always with me. Her laughter, her hugs, her stories. I felt her presence in every flower in the garden, in every gust of wind, in every ray of sunshine. I realized that revenge is not only destruction, it can also be creation. My revenge led to the disclosure of the truth. It led to justice. It led to healing. It led to change. I often thought about Uncle Roman, about his life in prison. I didn't feel hatred, only pity. Pity for a man who lost his soul for money, for greed. My story became part of the history of Foxbrook. It became a warning, she became a lesson. Silence is poison. Truth is the medicine. I learned this through my own experience. I learned it through pain. I learned it through loss. But I also learned about the strength of the human spirit, the power of love, and the power of truth. I learned that even in the darkest of times, light will always find its way. I learned that even the smallest spark can ignite a flame of change. My mother lived on in my memory. She lived in the garden. She lived in the hearts of the factory workers. She lived in every child I taught. Her story was a story of courage, a story of love, a story of truth. I often went to the garden. I would sit there for hours. I listened to the whisper of the wind. I looked at the flowers. I felt peace. I felt gratitude. I felt that I had fulfilled my duty. I felt that I had brought peace to my mother and to myself. Life goes on, but the past is never forgotten. It shapes us, teaches us. It makes us stronger. And I was stronger. I was wiser. I was a person who had found the truth and who wasn't afraid to tell it. My story was complete, but the lessons I learned will live on forever.